is Ed from Exotic Blanks. Today's topic is going to be the lever action pen, and we're going to discuss how to assemble it and make it work properly. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy the show. The first thing I do when I start a kit is to empty the bag into some kind of a small container. I use freezer containers from the dollar store. That way I know all the parts are in the little container and nothing can escape to the floor or whatever, springs particularly. Once that's done, then we grab the instructions and start trying to find out what they tell us to do. They do say at the top of this, use epoxy on some of the parts. I didn't do that because I was just trying to assemble this to see what problems it would give us. The first thing you want to do is press the click assembly coupler into one end of your blank. The one that we're showing is the click assembly coupler. It really doesn't matter which order you do this in, but that will get into one end of the blank. And then the second thing, as you see, that's what it looks like. Second thing they tell you to do is to put the nib coupler into the other end of the blank. So we grab the nib coupler, put it into the other end of the blank. Then once the nib assembly is on, you put the nib onto that, and then they tell you to put the spring onto one end of the refill. Now that's one of the problems. You can put it onto either end of the spring. One end you do not have enough, it's not big enough. The other end works. It goes flush up to the end of the refill. It's important that you put that spring on in the right orientation, so make sure that that's correct. Then, after that's on, keep it in the same keep it so that it doesn't fall off, and put it into the body that you've created. Push it up and down with your fingers several times, and you'll find that there are a couple of places that it seems to lock in place. I think it's hitting the spring. I think that's what's going on, but I don't know for sure. All I know for sure is that's not the spot you want to assemble it. Make sure that it goes in and out freely before you put the lever action on it. Once you put the lever action on, make sure that you're fairly close. There should only be 1/4, 3/8 of an inch between the two, and then you can push it down and thread it together. If you do that and you don't force the lever action mechanism on it, you can easily get this put together. If, when you put it together, the clicker does not work, don't immediately think that it's the clicker. Look first to find out, if you take the pen apart, do you still have difficulty pushing it in and out by hand? If you do, then the problem is not the clicker, it's something with the spring and or the nib of the pen. Investigate those first. After I made the pen, I played with this for quite some time, and I think I've figured out what goes on inside it. When you take it apart, unscrew the click mechanism and just play with the refill going in and out of the front end, you'll find that there are certain positions where you're hitting the spring. You can feel it, and you're off center. You're pushing it off center, and you can feel that it's hitting one after the next loop of the spring. So I believe the problem that we're running into is that we're not testing it before we start out. That spring is longer than the refill. When you put it in the first time, if you put it in so that the spring is hit by the end of the nib, it's never going to work. So be careful when you put it in. Make sure that you get it oriented so that the refill will go in and out easily, and then put your lever action on it, and I don't think you'll have any further problems. I think that's what's going on inside it. At least that's what was going on inside mine. If anybody runs into any additional problems, give me a call or send me an email, sales@exoticblanks.com. I'm certainly open to other solutions, but it looks to me like that's the problem. So that's it for Ed from Exotic Blanks. Hope all of your pens go together beautifully. But if they don't, try a few things before you assume that the product is bad. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.